Ben 10 Pilot. In 2018, screenshots surfaced on Reddit, potentially from an unreleased Ben 10 pilot. Creator Duncan Rouleau denied that these photos were real, but they clearly didn't look like anything a fan would have made. Dave Johnson, an artist who worked on Ben 10, later revealed that there was in fact an unreleased Ben 10 pilot. Since then, some concept art and footage of the pilot has been found. Clearly there were some changes in character designs and color palettes, but overall the pilot does seem to have rather good production quality compared to the series. Obviously most of the pilot is still lost, but after the difficulty and even determining whether this thing was real, it's nice to know that it's still out there. It's unknown why the creator denied the existence of a pilot and why he didn't want people to know about it. All That Glitters. No, obviously the SpongeBob episode by this name isn't lost. This was a sitcom from the 1970s that's lost today. The show took a pretty revolutionary angle for the time, as one of the first examples of parody in mainstream pop culture. All That Glitters parodied the standard soap opera format by reversing the traditional gender roles found in that genre. Critics panned the show for having no substance besides the reversal of the gender roles and for being not funny in general. Combining the bad reception with the inconvenient time slot the show was placed in, the show was cancelled rather quickly. 65 episodes of the show were aired, which actually seems like a lot for a show no one liked. Only a few clips from a promo and an interview with Chuck McCann are available. Full episodes can be viewed at the Paley Center for Media and the Library of Congress, but you actually have to go to the locations, and recording isn't allowed. I don't know, I feel like this is a similar situation to Turn On, which I talked about in the first episode of the series, where it was just too experimental to survive with a mainstream audience.
Glenn and Nancy look at the state of their union on Norman Lear's All That Glitters tonight at 10:30 on Channel 32.
When you just said that we're two different people, that really hit home.
What do you mean?
Well, maybe we've each had a different idea of marriage.
Watch Norman Lear's All That Glitters tonight at 10:30 on Channel 32.
DJ Hero 3D. This was supposed to be a game that launched with the 3DS. Much like the other games in the Hero franchise, it was a rhythm game that mimicked the instruments used in real life, and in this case, the turntables you would often see disc jockeys use. It's unclear if this version would be a port of the 2009 title or if it would be a standalone game designed specifically for the 3DS, or possibly even a hybrid with some old aspects and some new. DJ Hero 2 was released in 2010, and after seeing the frankly abysmal sales and critical reception, DJ Hero 3D was cancelled. There was an E3 demo, but that hasn't surfaced in any playable form today, and besides the demo, only a few screenshots of the game are available. Super Nick. I mentioned a spin-off of this show a few episodes ago, and mentioned in that video that I'd eventually get to the main show at some point. The show was a simple game show with various minigames, sort of like The Price is Right. There were always two teams, guys versus girls, and there was always a different celebrity guest in each episode, and the winning team would go on to a round called the Final Quiz. The show had an unknown number of episodes, and given that it was broadcast in the Netherlands, and since most of the Lost Media community is localized in the English-speaking world, outside of the Netherlands this search is relatively unknown. Nickelodeon generally just didn't preserve the show very well, as they removed all the full episodes available on their website in 2012, and very few recordings have surfaced, with no official re-releases since then.
Whose birthday is it?
It's no one's birthday. I just got a new job.
What?
That's right. I've just accepted a fantastic new position at a luxury electronics firm.
But I wanted to follow you around level 7 for career day.
I'm sorry, Brenda, but today's my last day at level 7.
I'm not so hungry.
Timo Supremo. Many of you might know this show from when Mr. Enter reviewed it a few years back, but for a while, a number of episodes from this show were lost. The show itself is about a trio of child superheroes, possibly trying to cash in on the trend of shows like the Powerpuff Girls, which were common in the early 2000s. The show wasn't received very well, and having watched a few episodes, I can definitely see why. While a good number of the episodes have been recovered, and with seasons 1 and 2 now being completely found, only a few episodes from season 3 have been lost. I feel like a broken record at this point, but talking about the lost Disney media, a Disney Plus release would be the quickest and easiest way for this to be found if Disney decides to pull the trigger.
Many years ago, Kids WB made this water tower. The water stays at a temperature of 49 degrees Fahrenheit all day long. The tank and the legs are constructed from 21 tons of fiber.
Kids WB backlot bumpers. Similar to the CN City era, Kids WB had their own iconic era of bumpers. Throughout the late 90s and early 2000s, Kids WB would air a collection of channel bumpers taking place in a CGI version of the WB Studio backlot. While a lot of these can be found in various places on the internet, it's unknown how many of these aired on Kids WB in the 6 years the branding was active. It's estimated that most of these are found, with a huge gap of lost bumpers between the years of 1999 and 2001. And because Warner Bros. Likely has no reason to release all of these officially, individual recordings are likely the only path to complete collection of the bumpers being found. Toonheads. Toonheads was an anthology series that aired on Cartoon Network through most of the 90s and through the early 2000s. The show was a compilation of retro cartoon shorts from the likes of Warner Bros. And MGM. These shorts were then tied together with a theme, and large enough in quantity to fill the time slot, and had trivia facts about the shorts in between them. While almost none of the shorts featured are lost in and of themselves, the way they were arranged in this series has mixed results. Most of the earlier seasons are lost, with most of the episodes in later seasons being found, with the occasional lost episode here and there. Season 1 has only one found episode, with most of the episodes outside the first season being found. Obviously, if you just want to watch the shorts, most of them can be easily found, but if you want to watch the Toonheads compilation show, the first season is very difficult to come by. Down and Under. The 2003 movie Kangaroo Jack was to originally have a different title and even a different script. In the original script, the kangaroo was not as major as he was in the final movie, and the movie had a lot more adult themes, with nudity and swearing being quite a focal point of the original script. After a few bad test screenings, the movie was re-edited into the final version of Kangaroo Jack that was released in 2003. As well as editing the nudity and swearing out of the movie, the original idea of having the kangaroo be animatronic morphed into the CG kangaroo that ended up in the final movie. The original cut of Down and Under is most likely out there somewhere, and earlier this year the script was even found, but the actual footage of the original cut is still lost today.
Let's go to a place with forest, lakes, and open space. Emerald Island. Creatures great and small, from sea to sky, you'll find it all. Emerald Island.
Emerald Island. Emerald Island was an MMO that was around briefly during the years of 2008 and 2009. Emerald Island was your standard MMO where you were able to do things like interact with other users, play minigames, and use the in-game currency to buy things that changed your character cosmetically. It's most similar to Club Penguin, but after its lack of success compared to games like Club Penguin showed, the developer Fluid Entertainment went bankrupt. The websites for Fluid and for Emerald Island are no longer accessible, as Fluid's website is now just a dead link, and Emerald Island's website now links to a resort that bought out the domain name. Because of the lack of details about this game's development, it's unlikely anything will ever be recovered. Empress Chung. Empress Chung was a 2005 Korean animated film based on a popular folktale in the region, about a girl sacrificing herself to cure her father's blindness. This film is known for receiving both a North and South Korean release, which is quite noteworthy. As well as this, the film also won many awards, which begs the question, how did this film become lost if it gained all this notoriety? Well, after the film released in theaters, no other official means of release happened, aside from supposedly getting a DVD release in North Korea, which, even if that did happen, Tracking down a DVD and getting it into the hands of someone who could put it online would be a monumental task given the difficulty of getting anything in or out of North Korea. Some trailers and concept materials exist of the movie online, but these are some of the only pieces of evidence supporting the existence of this film.